I first got into YouTube when I was 9 years old, and our new iMac computer was new to me, and it was exciting. I largely watched YouTube poop videos, and, various... This is even before Let's Plays, I'm pretty sure. They started cropping up, but even before that, it was just, game soundtracks, weird little skits people did, and the YouTube poop scene and all that. And, it was stupid and it was mindless for the most part, but I would sit there and I'd just watch it. I didn't even do other things at that point on YouTube. I'd just sit there, I'd look at the comments, talk to people. There used to be friends you would have on YouTube, and it kind of felt like we were all sort of friends on YouTube back in the day. It kind of felt like we were all a bunch of young people that, we're all trying to drown out the sound of our parents fighting downstairs or whatever, and we were just coming up with whatever we would come up with and putting it up there to show one another, And it had a cool vibe about it. People actually would talk to you back then if you started uploading something, and you could develop, not you wouldn't become best friends with every OST uploader, but I uploaded a song from Pokemon in super shitty quality, just recorded from my DS speaker, and people actually contacted me and were like, "Oh, hey, it's cool you're trying to do this, but here's how we actually do this. You aren't doing this correctly." And that was a message I got from someone, if I remember. I don't even think that was a comment. That might have been on my channel. Remember when you had a channel page and you could edit it? Oh my gosh. I'd like to see a photo of one of those. Shit, I've completely forgotten what those even looked like, but they were beautiful. People had ASCII art in theirs. It felt so cool. And, I found out about No More Heroes just reading that it was some guy's favorite on his thing, Like that, on his channel bio. It was fucking awesome, the way it used to be. But, it was awesome for what it was, right? Which is, a distraction like anything else, a social network like anything else. But, time passed on and YouTube continued to be a part of my life, and eventually, as I got older, moved into my teen years, I started, I wouldn't really just watch YouTube videos by themselves anymore. Then it got to be tons of Let's Play content at that point. It super took off. And, Google had bought it at that point. A lot of things had changed. But the nature of the website, or at least in terms of how I used it, it still felt... when Google took over, it started feeling a little bit weird. But that's not really what I want to talk about. I just want to talk about the fact that this became a thing for me, where I was then a YouTube kid. And I was like, okay, well, watching YouTube is something I do. And I don't want to, give that up in my life, even though, the classic YouTube poop content, let's face it, that got old at a certain point, didn't it? And you see less of it nowadays as a result, because people are tired of it. But in that classic style, it was really good, and I still watch a lot of those old videos over again. Or at least I used to, I don't know, a year ago. But the point is, it became something that I wouldn't just sit and do. It became something that I would pair with other things. But other things that were also grandfathered in from my childhood, such as grinding in long RPGs, a kid in his prime, right, in high school. I had an interest in art. I had a lot of things I wanted to do and skills I wanted to develop. But instead of doing really any of those things, I watched Let's Plays while grinding in RPGs. That's basically how I spent most of high school and middle school. And, call that what you will. It was perhaps foolish, perhaps ignorant of me to do so. However, I I don't know. Maybe I regret it a little bit. I wish I was a better artist right now. But I didn't even think about it really. It was just what I was doing. I just kept doing what I was doing, and Google kept making their money. And it felt like the right thing to do at the time, honestly, because I felt like I was getting into contact with people who I wouldn't have heard from otherwise. I was learning about perspectives I wouldn't have from otherwise. YouTube, especially in the early days, really had the feeling that these were all independent creators. These were all people, not even independent creators. These were just guys, that wouldn't even really call themselves artists, most of them. And, you know, we were all sort of providing one another with the service of a distraction from the world, which, you know, is dissatisfactory to a lot of people. And I think, when YouTube began, it was basically just those people, and the normies hadn't really gotten into it yet because it was just a space for people who were, very discontent with the world to go on and live out the fantasy a little bit, play game soundtracks nonstop, watch, videos that, just tear apart and scoff at the idea of, all the convention that we'd grown up with. It felt kind of like a release, and it felt like we were all doing it together and we were all kind of helping each other in a way. That's how it felt to me, anywho. But, it changed. It got more corporate as Google took over, and as people discovered you could really make good money on YouTube, there was all the people making good money on YouTube and treating it like a business, and it got more businessy, and it got a little less fun. But there were always, and there still are, there were always and there have always been independent creators making great content on YouTube. I'm not trying to dispute that. However, the vast majority of it is shit like what I'm doing right now. Just kind of people telling you how they think. And that's not so bad. I mean, it's good to hear different people's perspectives. And I think, YouTube is good because it's sort of like a Twitter, only you hear people talking, which is totally different than people typing. And there's different things communicated through it. That's how I like to use it, I'm no director or anything. At least that's not my interest. I'd rather just record something and put it out. And that's how YouTube has gradually shifted as more, real life people have joined and just use it as something to listen to while they work, while they develop their skills, while they grind in long RPGs or play handheld video games while sitting in their bedrooms, or drink or get high, or drink and get high while playing video games, or drink and get high while playing video games while smoking and chugging Monster Energy drinks, or whatever they happen to do, ha ha ha. Certainly not me, LOL, just kidding. But yeah, that's how it gets when you keep doing this this weird-ass hobby of just listening to people talk while doing something. It's weird. You're meant to just have your own thoughts most of the time. You're not, meant to. Like, you do whatever the fuck you want, but, I don't think it's that good for your brain. I think it's good to hear different perspectives. I don't think it's bad to listen to podcasts or YouTube, or even music a lot of the time, even though music is so much more vague and trippy. The audio content that you use in the background of your life, it's not all evil, but it shouldn't be as pervasive as it is nowadays, I think. At least and especially for an adult like me. I'm 23 now. All through college, YouTube was something I did to try and find the edgiest guys saying the realest shit who, were totally unlike, the people I thought I was surrounded by, who I saw as idiots who just wanted to enter the establishment. That's what a lot of people in college are. No offense, but anyway, they're not all evil, of course. And the supposition that they are sucks, right? But I think we're all here for something like that. I think we're all here on YouTube because we want a friend, and we feel like either we've been victimized in the past, or we've been outcast by society, or we have a victimhood complex that wasn't actually ever legitimately earned in our lifetimes. You know, whether we have some trauma or not, I think we all kind of feel like we're here because we don't belong in our own lives or in our own bodies or doing whatever it is that we want to do, or maybe we don't even know what we want to do, or maybe we don't even know what we should do. We don't know what is good in this world. So we all kind of end up on YouTube, and that's more of how I got when I got, you know, even older and left college and moved out on my own and just kept using YouTube. Started pairing YouTube with lots of drugs. Lots of drugs and things, because you got to keep it interesting somehow, right? To keep doing the same hobby for that long, you have to find a way to keep it interesting. You keep digging deeper and deeper into weird shit on YouTube. You keep, you know, pairing it with other things and you know, coming up with new ways to do it. Suddenly you're wearing headphones 24/7. You never go outside without them. You haven't heard silence in ages. And, you know, that's the state I think a lot of people in their mid-20s like me are kind of in right now, that grew up with this shit. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck are we still doing here? Like, let's reevaluate this. Oh my gosh. Like, if we're adults, I'm speaking to the adults now. I'm speaking to the people my age or older. We're here, for whatever reason we're here, and we had a legitimate reason to be here at some point, and maybe we do now. I'm not saying you can never ever go on YouTube again. Do whatever the fuck you want, but what I'm saying is, if we have problems with the real world, if we're stunted people in some way, which I think I am, and I think that's why I've clung to YouTube, clung to parasocial relationships, clung to this thing that I, you know, listened to instead of my parents fighting when I was a kid, you know, this thing I did because I didn't have anything else the fuck to do when I was that young, you know? If we just keep clinging to this, the world's not going to get any better. You know, if we spend all of our time and all of our attention on the static, on the noise that YouTube feeds us, on the little fetishistic interests, all the little corners that we've gotten into where we're learning about disciplines that we'll never practice. We're learning about, you know, we're watching reviews of things we haven't seen or played, we have no intention of engaging with in the real world, and we're learning about philosophies that we, you know, don't adhere to and don't find value in. And we're all doing this shit. We're just listening to stuff to listen to, and we're listening to it from people who are also like us, but have, you know, have at least taken it upon themselves to do something with their lives that, you know, enables them to justify that kind of lifestyle more readily. But the rest of us, which I consider myself, because I'm not a YouTuber, you know, this is not my profession in any way, right? I got no fucking reason to be here anymore, unless I were to become a YouTuber and actually try and, like, you know, make my mission to make actually entertaining videos or something, or you know, just something that would be popular. I could do that. Any of us could do that. That's not so hard to do. I think it's quite possible. I have a video with fucking 7,000 views that I recorded in 30 minutes, you know? It's just... And I didn't even fucking edit the thing at all, you know? It's not that hard. But the thing is that, like, I don't know, aren't there higher virtues? This is what I've realized recently is I think, like, I think we're all just too focused on enjoying life and not focused enough on trying to make life something more enjoyable. You know, like we're not bettering ourselves as much as we'd like to be, and we're not giving back as much as we'd like to be. Like there are people way fucking poorer than us. You know, 70% of people have under $10,000 in total things, in total net worth. That's all your property, that's everything. And, like, we're out here feeling sorry for ourselves, and a lot of us are in debt, and a lot of us feel like children because we've been stuck in a state of powerlessness, or what feels like powerlessness, but we're not powerless. Every moment that we are alive, we define what we're going to do. We have total free will. We can do whatever we like at any moment, and at any time, you can drop everything, sell your entire video game collection, and give your entire life to volunteering to help the homeless, or move to a fucking third world country and feed starving children, or whatever. You don't have to fucking change your entire life. But what I'm saying is that, like, you always have the power to do something more meaningful than watching, like, a YouTube video. You always have the ability to, even if you're just going to, like, play a video game anyway, you have the ability to sit and play the game and really think about it. And really, like, that's not a bad practice to just get some ideas going, because a good work of art is legitimately full of great ideas that you can apply to your own life and you can develop your own philosophies through, and that's all great. But if you're constantly filtering life through noise, just noise, you're losing the signals. You're missing the real messages. You're probably not even listening that hard to what I'm saying right now. Only if you made it to this far in the video, well, maybe you just left it on. I don't fucking know. But you're here. Congrats. We made it. This is the end of the video. Haha, like and subscribe. No. Don't do it. Unless you're a kid. I don't know. I don't want kids subscribed to me. That's fucking creepy. I make videos all my videos are for teens to it. I don't know. Fucking care. Whatever. Point is, YouTube is for kids, even though we don't like it when we see kids using it, because we don't want them to be stunted like us. You ever see a kid with a fucking little iPad or an iPhone going on YouTube? You're like, I'm so fucking scared. I'm scared not only for, like, the future of this developing person, but I'm legitimately scared of, like, the the fact that they might run into something fucking evil on this website. It's so... That's the other thing. Every second we're on YouTube, we're feeding our data and we're feeding our attention toward a fucking ad company whose entire job is to get the whole world looking in different directions and looking as narrowly and deeply as they can. They're all trying to turn us into fetishists of some kind by feeding us content related to content we already like. And as long as we just keep consuming it and just keep giving them that info, they'll just keep driving the big consumerist engine. They'll keep, reinforcing the global state of power and the massive wealth gap that just keeps getting bigger and bigger every day. That is what's happening. It's just going to keep happening even more as long as we're on here, because and also, while we are on here, yes, we are being served more and more, quote unquote tailored to us content, and therefore we are all getting more and more niche in our interests, which isn't inherently the worst, maybe, but, like, we're getting further from, like, reality. We're getting much further from agreeing on what the fuck is even happening or what is even good or bad in reality, and I don't think everyone has to agree on that. Your own life perspective should fuel, your own life experiences should fuel your outlook, but I don't think your outlook should be fueled nearly as much by Google or, some fucking guy like me on the internet, Like, you gotta look at your own life and you gotta think and make your own decisions, at least, yeah. You got to find out how you're gonna spend your entire adult life, wherein you do have the power to do what you want to do. If you have the ability to connect to this video and you've made it this deep into YouTube that you somehow found this, you probably have a decent amount of free time and a decent amount of money. And therefore, you can probably do something to make the world better. Whatever it is you want, make art, If that, I think art is, like, the bottom tier, like, giving back to society. Like, it's selfish, it doesn't directly help anyone, it is fetishistic inherently. However, it does make people's lives better to consume art. Like, people do enjoy it. It is still an escape. At least fuel the escape. If nothing else. At least make a YouTube video. No! Don't make a YouTube video. Go out in the real world. Better yourself. Learn a skill. Get a job. Make money. Don't make money. It's not all about money. It's not all about fucking money. Give some money away to people who need it. Help some people. It's a Christmas season, you know. It's a season of giving, which is not meant to be, you know, giving to one another at the very top of society, profiting only, you know, the corporations, but giving of what you already have, the blessings that you have, to the less fortunate. That's what Christmas is really supposed to be for. I mean, that's what Jesus wanted it to be for. You know, I mean, not that Jesus celebrated Christmas. I mean, you know, you people understand that. I mean, unless you think I'm a complete idiot, you already know this. You don't need me to fill in the voice of the commenter who's trying to nitpick every single thing, you know? That's not a useful use of your time. Don't do that. Don't be a guy who watches billions of YouTube videos and comments on all of them about what was wrong. That's one of the least useful things you can do with your time. You know? Just think about it. Just like all I'm saying is just reassess, because I reassessed and I felt like, damn, am I pretty dumb? You know, like this isn't even a hobby that I like that much, honestly. I had one more point I wanted to make, and of course, it's escaping me now. Let's see. I did YouTube, and then the world is bad, you can make it better. Oh yeah, so as long as we keep getting more fetishistic in our interests, and we keep getting more and more noise given to us. Noise is what I mean by I mean, it's literal noise, but it's also just things distracting you from just thinking your own thoughts. You know, just your own thoughts you would have if you didn't even have, like, a lot of input, you know? And you don't even have to, like, sit down and meditate. You can just walk around and think, or, you know, just think while you're working, or think while playing a video game. But as long as you're just thinking your own thoughts and you're not having your thoughts directly replaced by, like, you know, words. Even instrumental music is fine to listen to while thinking. It's not so bad for you. You know, I like the Monogatari series soundtracks a lot because they are very, they're very good thinking music, you know, and there's a lot of classical music and similar stuff that's very good thinking music. There's plenty of things you can do and think at the same time. Just don't listen to words spoken by a human voice all the time, because that is so totally distracting of your, like, internal voice, which is smarter than you think. No matter who you are, it's smarter than you think, and it isn't driving all your actions. But if it did, you know, you could probably do better. I mean, you could probably fix some of your personal emotional problems, or at least get over them. You could probably get closer to the people in your life that you care about. You could probably make the world a better place, specifically in the ways that you are discontent with it. You know, find whatever thing you hate about the world and really just think, like, how am I going to make this better? We do have the power to make small improvements. You know, I used to be hopeless about the world because I just thought, well, we're never going to fucking fix everything wrong with the world. This sucks. But, like, you're just one person in 8 billion, and you can, you know, you can have the amount of effect that 1/1 billionth of the world could possibly have, which, you know what? If you think about how narrow your own perspective is as one human life, think about taking another human life whose perspective is as narrow, but just, you know, constantly pain, you know, sadness, fear, anger, loathing, hunger, you know, abuse. And then imagine gifting to that person, you know, the amount of goodness that one extra life could bring to it, you know? And suddenly it goes from, 0 to like 100. Like any one person has the ability to save one other person. If we all divide our attention across, the people in our communities, then we can make the world way fucking better. If we just focus on the people around us, or the people that we don't know that live in our city that are homeless, or, give money to some foundation helping people elsewhere, whatever, just giving back in some way. Like, yeah, it's what is good in the world. You know what I mean? You're not gonna gain anything by reaching the ultimate bottom of a hobby or an interest. I did that with porn. I feel I've done that with gaming, where I've just gotten so deep into it that I can't really get any deeper. And you know what? I didn't really find anything at the bottom. There wasn't, I didn't earn anything. I didn't really achieve anything. I wasn't rewarded. I don't feel like a good person for doing it. I don't feel cool for doing it. I feel like I wasted a bunch of time. But I did learn some things, There's nothing wrong with trying something out and seeing what there is to be gained from it and moving on when it's time to move on. And when that is whenever it is for you. Maybe it's not right now with YouTube. Maybe there's still some video out there that you'll learn some message from that will actually make you leave YouTube and go do something good with your life. Maybe it's not this one. Check out Endless Jest. Check out Horseshoe Review, Horseshoe Finale. And Horseshoe Finale 1 year later. That's a really good one. Endless Jest's videos are good, as I'm nothing like that. I'm just trying to say what I can say when I think about it. But I'm not a YouTuber, and who fucking cares? I'm just putting my voice out there because I think maybe this will do 1% of good. Like I said, maybe this will do 1% good in the universe, But as long as we just, keep giving up our attention to Google, the more they're going to keep serving us weird fetish shit, and I don't mean like perv shit. I mean like, getting deeper and deeper and deeper into a niche that, like, to the point where you're not really looking at the real world anymore. You're just in the niche. That can totally happen. I thought that was the right thing to do for a while. I thought the right thing to do in life was to fully invest yourself in fantasy because life just isn't worth it. I just wanted to kill myself anyway, so I figured, well, I might as well just spend 100% of my time invested in fantasy and look away from the real world as much as possible. But you know what? The whole time I was doing that, I was consuming and I was fueling this global wealth disparity. I was by consuming so much from all these companies. And I think it's what they want. I don't necessarily think it's all that Machiavellian or planned out, but this is the way it's worked out, And we have the ability to do something about it. We're not completely powerless. And the more we're all looking in our own different directions, the less we are, equipped to communicate with one another, which, I feel happening, and it's freaky. You ever talk to some guy you just met and he starts talking about some fucking Reddit conspiracy or something? You talk to someone and they it's like everyone's getting more and more spectrumy, and it's not necessarily all bad. People like that are more useful to our modern society than anyone else. I think it's very much a matter of conditioning by the society we live in, which is essentially made for people like that. I consider myself among that too, I mean, I've had it pretty fucking bad. I've played video games for like 17 hours straight before. I've dug myself into the most intense holes of Nice in fantasy ever, and that's why I'm here to tell you it's not really worth it in the end. You just realize you're running away at a certain point. When you can't run any further in one direction, you realize all you can do is turn back around and just see all the directions you didn't go in with your life. All the things that you could have done or could have helped with, but you just kept focusing on your one little obsession until it totally consumed everything about you and everything about your thinking and everything about your life until there was nothing left. And then you thought, my life is perfect because I've finally gotten to just the things that I care about. And then you realize how little you really matter because those things, they're just things. You know, it's like when there's no further to achieve in a certain way, suddenly you just feel like, well, that way isn't even fucking worth anything. If it, if I'm still just the same fucked up person who's still fucked up in all the same ways, and the world is the same fucked up world it's always been, and it's only gotten worse because of me. I haven't done anything good. Even in my personal relationships, I've only ever been selfish. I've never really gone out of my way to do something really good for someone else. And, do I really wish someone had done anything big to save me? No. But there are people out there that can be saved. And like when you just sit in your room playing video games all day and you don't have anywhere to go with it, you're just like, oh yes, I'm finally in an equilibrium state where I'm working 4 hours a day and I'm making just enough money to just game constantly. And I don't have to worry about anything else. Suddenly you start worrying about other things. Suddenly you start being like, well, I just have me and my thoughts right now. And fuck. Like now that I don't have anything I don't want to say I don't have anything to rebel against, but now that playing video games doesn't feel like an act of rebellion against an institution, now that playing video games has truly just become a pastime for me, now that video games really is just like, oh yeah, that's just a fun thing that I can do all over again. It became a full religion, and now it's just, oh yeah, that is a fun way to spend your time, but you know what? There's, there's numerous horrible, there's billions of horrible things happening to kids and the poor every fucking second. And I just found myself sitting in that fucking room 24/7, just imagining the worst things happening to the most innocent people nonstop. That's all I thought about. And it drove me fucking insane. It's like, no, I'm not okay with that world, and I know I'm running away from it, and I have a reason to want to run away from it. It's fucking horrible and evil, and I hate it. But, like, I'm not experiencing any of that myself. I've totally separated myself from that. And, I thought I was doing myself a favor. I mean, I guess I was improving my life, but I wasn't doing anything good. And I don't fucking care about myself. What the fuck do I care about my own feelings? Why am I so fucking important? I've had every fucking privilege my entire life. Nothing bad has ever really happened to me. I have no real, serious traumas or anything. Personally, I just feel like a weirdo. I've just felt like a weirdo my whole life because I've been programmed to have ADHD and be an obsessive gamer from, the day I was born, basically. So my whole life I've been an outcast, so I've just gotten further into my niche, and now that I've hit the bottom of it, I realized, maybe when I was a kid, I was a little smarter than the rest of them, and I had a reason to not relate to other people as much. And, I don't have to be everyone's friend nowadays, and I'm not everyone's friend, and I don't like people in general. That's still true, but I know that people have brains just like mine, and, they think the way I think, and they feel pain the way I do, and I know I fucking hate pain, and I know there's tons of it in the world that I am not doing shit about, except my own, which is at this point non-existent, and maybe it never really was, I think I've always just kind of been coddling myself. really, because I was afraid that I might feel pain. But meanwhile, there are people for whom life is just pain, basically, you know? And I do have the ability to donate my time and money to help those people. And, I sold, or not sold, I'm donating, like, all my toys this Christmas. I'm donating, like, half my fucking wardrobe that I don't need. Just like, like, I received Christmas presents when I was a kid. And, good, fair enough, fair enough. Give kids presents unless they're fucking spoiled rotten and they get millions of things anyway. But, you know, give presents to kids because they got no fucking life. They can't do anything about their situation. They're stuck with their parents. Their parents are probably abusive. Just about everyone is abusive in some way or another. Even if it's just very minor, the mechanisms are all there and it's every fucking day for them and they have nothing they can do and they don't know what to do and they don't know any better. So give, help out children. Children deserve it. But then, accept when you've stopped being a child and when you no longer are the one that needs help and find the people that do and help them. And I think that's fine. I don't think you have to feel guilty about it. I don't think you need to, be stuck on the past. I think, yeah, people grow up and it's fine to outgrow things and it's fine to move on and it's fine to take the lessons you learned from things and really go and apply them to the real world. And that's about all I have to say now. Merry Christmas, everyone.